Well, and then speaking about the city, let's just talk a little bit about the City of London.
That was a nice segue, wasn't it? So yes, we're gonna look at what's the city doing? What's the city up to? And are they dictating British economic policy at the moment? I think they might be. I'm going to introduce you to a few characters, and I'll let you make your own minds up about what I've just said. So this relates to the World Economic Forum, and I've been speaking about this for the past few weeks. Obviously, happened in Davos at the end of January, and they're improving the state of the world by delivering ever more money and power into the hands of a global 1%. It's basically what they're doing. And last week, I talked about them using a fascist system. And actually, I think that it's more accurately described as a woke fascist system. I talked about this last year, this idea that actually, it's not the 1930s anymore. Mussolini isn't still around. They've got to evolve their ideas to adapt with the times. And actually, what we're looking at now is this sort of multi-headed beast of intersectional Marxism combined with the integration of the market and the state, what I call an unholy alliance between money and power that I personally believe to be Fabianism. I think that's what Fabianism is. We talked about the Fabians earlier, and I'm going to bring them back into frame a little bit later on in this section as well. Before I do that, let's just talk about money and power, power and money, and they are best exemplified at Davos in this image, again, that I showed last week. So representing power, we have Rachel Reeves, the UK Chancellor, and Jonathan Reynolds, the Business Secretary, who are both Fabians, by the way, so they're part of that network I talked about earlier on in the show. And representing money, we have Jonathan Holt there, UK Managing Partner at KPMG, who loves doing these sort of funny hand sign things, one of these guys, yeah. That's a bit weird, Jonathan. Why are you doing that? Anyway, and also representing money, because this was a jointly hosted event between KPMG and the City of London, right? So the City of London Corporation ran this with KPMG. Rachel Reeves, Jonathan Reynolds were both there. Money and power, the unholy alliance on stage there in front of you. And here we see Chris Hayward representing the City of London Corporation. He's the policy chief, very powerful guy, meeting global business and political leaders to champion the UK as a world-class destination for investment, but actually ultimately to champion the City of London as a world-class destination for investment. That's what he's there to do. They've got this whole program running in a minute about the global city. Right, and we could do a whole hour-long section on that. I haven't got time to dig into it right now, but go to the globalcity.uk and you'll see what the City of London are up to. You can see this here from Chris Hayward saying that they want to make the UK the best place in the world to raise private capital to fund the global transition in infrastructure markets and technology to support a net zero future. Right, so again, talked about this last week, net zero, climate change, that whole thing. This is a racket. This is a marketplace. This is designed to make huge amounts of money for private investors and people like Chris Hayward, frankly, at the City of London, right? And a lot of this, they also love to talk about impact investing. And this is basically gets spun as being socially responsible. But actually, I think that when you understand that these people think that the human population needs to be reduced by about 90 to 95%, that is really what you need to understand when they're talking about social and environmental benefits and impact. That's the kind of thing that they're talking about, right? And again, it's been driven by people like this. There's Chris Hayward talking to Tony Blair, and he was making big statements. This guy's very, very active, and we're just going to listen now to a quick video statement he made about the future of the UK economy at Davos last week.
I'm back in Davos, Switzerland once again for the World Economic Forum, together with our Lord Mayor. We will be promoting the City of London as the global financial capital of the world. And together we will meet investors and potential investors from around the world who will realise that Britain is open for business.
The City of London is the financial capital of the world. Rachel Reeves was there, Jonathan Reynolds was there with him presenting that message. That's who these people work for, I believe, ultimately. When they talk about growth, when they talk about economic transformation, it's all designed to deliver for the city and private investors. He just said that the country is open for business. Britain is open for business. And just a few days after he made that statement, what do we see in London? We see Keir Starmer in the city repeating that message, with Rachel Reeves saying Britain is back and open for business. Let me just bring that up slightly bigger. There's the message. You can see it. Yeah, so City says this at Davos, Starmer says it in London. Right? There's a total parallel there between the two messages. And let's have a little look at his piggy little face. Look at him; he's loving it. These are his people. He loves this kind of setup, Starmer, and he loves going to big city events. Actually, you can see we'll put them in the room together. There's Chris Hayward and Starmer talking to each other, brothers in arms, money and power. There, the unholy alliance between the two at the Lord Mayor's banquet back in December last year. Hashtag growth unleashed. Yeah, again, growth equals bottom line growth for the City of London. That is who Starmer's working for. And none of this is new. It's been going on for thousands of years. Here is the Remembrancer. So this is Paul Double, this guy is called. He was made the Remembrancer, which is basically the original corporate lobbyist. They literally sit behind the Speaker's chair in Parliament to represent the interests of the city. And actually, Mike was talking about checkers being the official residence of the UK Prime Minister. Well, look, there's a checkerboard behind him. That's Masonic symbolism. It goes right the way up to the name of the official residence of the UK Prime Minister. We're going to talk about this guy in Extra, I've got a feeling, right? Because this is just astonishing, really, when you understand how embedded the City of London and the banks and the financial system are into the mechanics of governance in this country. It's absolutely astonishing, and this goes right the way back to the Fabian Society, as I've been talking about earlier on, both in this segment and the earlier segment that I did, because Chris Hayward, this is just last week, he's there talking to the Fabian Society New Year's meeting, saying the road to Britain's future, one of economic growth and shared prosperity, runs through the City of London. This was a message shared at the New Year conference at the Guildhall, right? And he's talking about the importance of stakeholders like the Fabian Society in order to unlock UK growth. That's the Guildhall. This is basically the key administrative building of the City of London. That's where the Fabian Society held their New Year's conference. Money and power, power and money, total integration. Interestingly, and I haven't got a huge amount of time, overseeing the Guildhall, we have these two characters. So this is Gog and Magog, who in the book of Revelation are named as evil forces that will fight with Satan in the great battle in the end times against God. That's who's running the country at the moment. And before we finish, let me just close by introducing you to this fella. So there's Chris Hayward meeting another dignitary at the mayor's dinner back in December. But I'm going to talk about this guy sneaking into frame in the corner there, who is Ian Thomas, CBE, who's the chief executive, you can see at the top there, of the City of London Corporation. That's his current job. If you whiz down to the bottom, you can see that for a period of time from 2015, he was Strategic Director of Children and Young People at Rotherham Council. So he was the guy that was sent in to do the clean-up job, bury the bodies, maybe we could say, metaphorically speaking, of course, in the wake of the grooming gang scandal in Rotherham. And he's basically been given the bump up to the chop job in the city several years, 10 years down the line. Amazing how all this stuff comes together.
I'm sure, Ben, it was just a coincidence. I'm going to say thank you very much for that. That was an amazing report. Well, we got to leave it there for today. Did you have some comment?
Just to add, Mike, that we will be talking more about the Bonnie Lewis case in Extra. We will be talking more about Lucy Letby case in Extra. So
stick around if you're a UK Column member. If you're not, consider joining, because that's what keeps us going, and we do need your continued support. Thank you very much to everybody that does support us in that way. We need to leave it there. We'll be back in a few minutes for Extra if you're a member. Otherwise, don't forget the interview tomorrow at 1 p.m. and we'll be back for the news at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.